said this one traded for my first big win. Jonathan Fink on the line tonight with a pack in hand and a story that bites. Old paper, new spark, name on the card. From basement deals to a full-on start. Collected and connected, collected and connected, trading the truth.
Hey, what's up? Jonathan Fink, Sports Card Collectors Club, and this is the Card Life Chronicles. And today we got a big episode. We're going to rip basketball packs, and the reason why is to celebrate that I have officially completed the draft of the Pokemon Gods Are Real. That means I can now send it off to my book layout designer, and we can take that manuscript and turn it into the chapters and get the page layout, the page numbers, all that stuff set, and then we can create the exterior book cover and the spine of the book. And then get it off to the printing presses so that book could be ready for release for the 30th anniversary of Pokemon on September 16th. So I'm literally going to release it the same day as the Pokemon 30th anniversary release. So that should be pretty epic. Worked so hard on that book, spent over a year researching it, spent 6 months writing it, and then another 6 months, editing it, improving it, and that sort of thing. And so it's been a real labor of love, 2 years. Love Pokemon, love the non-sports card hobby. But now it's back to my bread and butter. It's back to sports. And as you know from my Football Gods Are Real series and Hockey Gods and Golf Gods, Baseball Gods, of course, there was one series that I had not done yet, which is basketball. Now, I wrote a draft for the Basketball Gods Are Real and the Soccer Gods Are Real during the pandemic. I actually wrote drafts also for the Investment Gods Are Real and Political Gods Are Real, if you could believe that. And they were just kind of rough drafts. And then since then, I've just been accumulating material, just saving articles and saving stories about all those different topics, investments, politics, basketball, soccer, whatever. And I'll probably also down the road pen a book for the tennis gods too. You never know. But anyway, just like with Pokemon, I just kept researching and accumulating material. And then finally when it gets to enough, it's ready to go. So with basketball, now my project is I have to work the manuscript the first draft that I wrote, and now incorporate all the stories and articles of the last 5 years into that body of work. Now, some of those stories might be so compelling that they become their own chapters. Others will just have to work into existing chapters because the content will just kind of fit into an existing chapter's theme. So that's going to take some time. But my goal is to have this book released next summer, just in time for the Summer League. If you look when you see the book cover, I use a photo I took at the UNLV arena, and the ticket says July 11th. So I'm gonna 2026. So I'm gonna release this book on July 11th, 2027, and I hope to kind of be at the Summer League and the NBA Top Shot event to kind of announce that drop, and then I'll get to celebrate even more because I plan on attending the National next year. So I'll have my 2 sports card books out. I'll have the Pokemon book out, and then I'll have a recent drop with the Basketball Gods Are Real. So to please the basketball gods, and I've started to buy a bunch of jerseys. I've been collecting jerseys for years. When my son was a young kid growing up in baseball, I'd wear baseball jerseys to all of his games, and every time we travel around the country, I'd buy jerseys and collect them. And I haven't worn them in years, and now I've been wearing them for my Sports Card Collectors Club podcast. And before that, I was a big soccer player. I love soccer, and I coached my son's, little league teams, and I used to always wear jerseys for that. So I have a huge collection of soccer jerseys as well. I only have a few football jerseys, only a couple of hockey jerseys, but I didn't own any basketball. And whenever I write these books, you kind of got to get into the vibe. So I always like to wear the theme of whatever I'm writing about. And so I recently purchased an Anthony Edwards jersey. Actually, it was on sale at Shields, and it was a kid's extra large. So that's how I'm a little dude, so I was able to fit into a kid's extra large, which is kind of funny. And then I picked this up on sale as well. And then I got a Kansas City Kings jersey that I bought on eBay on the way. And then I bought a Patrick Ewing jersey. So I got all the jerseys that I can now wear to kind of channel the gods and bring me some good vibes and some good creativity. And in the meantime, I'll be writing that book, and I'll be playing my Lost Franchises simulation game on NBA 2K. And with that, I'm playing the video game. Whenever I'm taking breaks from editing, you can't edit 24/7. You take breaks. So, when I'm not meditating or on a walk or whatever, I'll play a couple games. And then my goal is I'm going to start with the 83 series and start with the Kansas City Kings. And I'm bringing back the Lost Franchises like like the Buffalo Braves and the Syracuse Nationals and the New Jersey Americans and stuff like that. And then I will buy the cards and create a PC of all the players that I use. So my first draft pick, my first guy I traded for was Dominic Wilkins. So I actually had his card from the 1986 Flair set. But now Tree Rollins and Bill Walton and all the players that are on my team, I'm out on eBay and I'm buying the cards, and then I'll display them throughout the year on all the different social media. For right now, we're just gonna rip some packs and just have some fun. I have an assortment of different products. I got Flair 91. I got the new Don Ross, non-licensed. I got some old school Flair 92, Topps 93. Even have some modern day NBA hoops. So let's get a good whip session going. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday afternoon. And I know it's still the National, so a lot of people are still at the National. A lot of people probably went for the first few days and now they're coming home. I know here in Kansas City today, there actually are two different trade shows. And usually I'm at those shows, but right now I'm back into writing mode. This morning I was finishing up the editing of The Pokemon Gods Are Real. I've been reading that book over and over and over and over, trying to just fine tune it as much as possible. It can never be perfect. And I still have some chances to make amendments and edits. Basically, I sent it off to my booklet designer. He'll send me back a first draft of his work, and then I'll review it again then. And then once I create the physical book, I have a ritual where I have the book sent to me, and then I read the book again physically to make sure that there's no grumbling mistakes that happen along the way. And then after I read it those 2 extra times, once I feel like it's ready to go, I send it to the printing press. I click ebook on Amazon and I make those books, and then it's done. I can sometimes make changes when books get released. In fact, with the Sports Card Collectors Club Volume 1, there actually might be one or two little wrinkles in the ebook. And once the ebook is made, that's very, very hard to fix. And so that's tough as an author to kind of put out stuff that's not always perfect. But I used to have a boss named Mark Romeo. We used to work together at a company called Video Double in Emerald City. And he used to always pat me on the back and say, Fink, it's all in the spirit of continuous improvement. And that's an important mantra to live by. And when you have setbacks, you just keep grinding and you keep making things better. And even when you put something out, if it's not perfect, that's okay. Just continue to live in the spirit of continuous improvement and always try to just improve every day. I find that's now true as a streamer and a YouTuber and a podcast host. I'm always trying to find ways to get better. I'm still learning, and if you're lucky in this life, you never stop learning, you never stop growing, you continually evolving your soul, So anyway, let's rip. So let's start with something awesome. Let's start with 1991-92 Flair basketball. Everyone knows the story about Topps and the license and with Flair basketball, and how in '86 when that legendary set came out, there had not been a basketball set in a couple of years. So there's like 8 or 9 players that technically have their rookie cards in that set, although it's not actually their rookie year. Even Michael Jordan, there's a huge debate about Michael Jordan. For years, everyone considered his '86 Flair card his rookie card, but it's actually a star card from the year prior. And many are now saying that's actually his true rookie card. And I would be in agreement. My feeling is whatever the first card is out, that should be considered the rookie card. So anyway, let's check out these cards from 91-92 Flair. Design is great. There's Terry Mills, Rodney Monroe. I was always a Knicks fan, but I did kind of like the Nets for a little bit when they had like Drazen Petrovic. I loved that guy. I just loved the way he played and his personality. And then when the TBS came onto our cable network in Long Island, they started having the Atlanta Hawk games, and I loved Spud Webb, and Dominic Wilkins actually became my favorite player because of that. So for a period of time, I kind of rooted for the Hawks, quietly. And on my fantasy basketball teams in high school, I always tried to have Hawks like Kevin Willis because he was awesome at like blocking shots and getting rebounds. And I always felt that in fantasy basketball, the trick was to have all around good players, not just the guys who can score. You want to have guys who have assists, rebounds, steals, blocks. There's Henry James. There's Lloyd Vault. Chris Mullin. Chris Mullin had one of the players who had the rookie card in the '86 Flair. Alan Bristow. Greg Sutton. So John Starks. I wish he won a title. He never got a chance to win a title with Patrick Ewing. But he was on one of those great New York Knicks teams that were always good, but not good enough. And I always loved John Starks. He was a really blue collar player, and he was terrific. Great dude. Ooh, back to back. Greg Anthony, the two of them, roamed that backcourt during those Knicks years. And I love the anomalies when you pull two cards in a row. So that's awesome. Greg Anthony. Reggie Williams. My wife's name is Reggie, so I always give a shout out to Reggie. That's a great uniform, by the way. Whoa, speaking of the Kansas City Kings, Spud Webb. I mentioned Spud Webb earlier. I'm now doing a franchise with the Kansas City Kings. This card's going into glass PC for sure. Let's get that going. Another anomaly. We got back-to-back Kansas City King cards. It's a shame that we don't have a NBA team now. I guess back then we couldn't support it. There was the money and enough fandom to support ticket prices and all that stuff. Nate McMillan, my son's name is Nate. Back-to-back Sonics with Michael Cage. So 3 different cards, 3 different sets of doubles of back-to-back teams. And here we go with Spud Webb. Oh, my glass. Hold on. Yeah, so, to me, collecting is not about making money and investments. It's about collecting what you love. And so, yeah, I appreciate when you pull a numbered card or auto just as much as the next guy, and I certainly will celebrate that and appreciate the value. But like the Spud Webb card here, doesn't need to be valuable. It's about what's meaningful, And so the value of that card for me is tremendous because I'm literally doing a franchise on NBA 2K with the Kansas City Kings starting in 1983. And Spud Webb, I just mentioned, he's been one of my favorite players ever since he was an Atlanta Hawk because he's my size. He's like 5'7", and so him, Muggsy Bogues, I always rooted for the little guys. But I also actually rooted a lot for the freaks like Manute Bol. Remember Manute Bol was one of those first 7-footer guys, and he was never really a huge impact player. He was never like an all-star, but he definitely was one of the greater character personalities. And in fact, his son Bol is in the NBA right now, which is awesome. All right, next. All right, let's do this. Let's do this Don Ross 2025 basketball. So now unlicensed, but Panini made awesome cards. They always did. And I'm curious to see how they can make these non-licensed cards look good. Don't forget, you still get the Panini Kabooms, still get Panini Downtowns. So Panini is going to stay relevant. And they still have the rated rookie, which is my favorite logo designation is the rated rookie. There's Norchard Omir. Oh, this is interesting. It's women too. AZ Fudd. And that's a rated prospect. Jameer Watkins. Yeah, I mean, you could barely tell, honestly, that this one is not licensed. His forearm is across the logo. And that's a really great looking design card. Well done, Panini. Yeah, same here. They would have to, they'd be very careful with the pictures that they choose. And if they're clever, like this one, you notice you could start see his last name because that's not part of the Celtics licensing. But you can barely tell this rated rookie, Hugo Gonzalez, is not playing, not wearing a real jersey from the Celtics. That's pretty well done. Speaking of which, here's our first nice insert. I don't know what this insert is called, but nice and shiny, looks good. There's a veteran card, a legend, Chris Mullin. We discussed him earlier. Got his rookie card in the Epic '86 Flair set. Now, I don't know why these marbles are not premium cards like Kabooms. This Cade Cunningham, I love the marble design. It's one of my favorite cards. I think it is worthy of the gallery, and great job covering up the logo. Can you really tell? Do you really care that he's not, whether or not he's playing for the Detroit Pistons? Right? I don't know. Maybe people wouldn't care, but that's a great looking card. Got a back-to-back, by the way, with Trey Johnson III. And this is his rookie, and it's in red. That's beautiful. Meta World Peace. Definitely not his real jersey. That one's pretty obvious. But he was really a character, wasn't he? Paul Pierce. Not just a legendary Celtic, but a legendary Jayhawk. Derrick Rose. Sean Bradley, one of those big, tall, skinny guys during the junk wax era. Christian Collins. And then that's awesome. Bobby Knight, always angry. But, yeah, I didn't know they had college coaches in there, too. That's pretty weird, right? But he's a character for sure. So yeah, it might be a little hard to get focused on basketball because honestly, the attention right now in the hobby is training for football. Training camp has started. Believe it or not, the Hall of Fame game I think is just 2 weeks away now, so we're getting really close to some football again on TV. As you guys know, I wrote the book "Spirit of the Gridiron" about Beck Jordan, the College Football League, Simpson College, Division III school that starts a revolution. And so, yeah, to celebrate that and keep it in people's focus and whatever, I'm actually playing a franchise on College Football 27 where I recreate the College Football League, which is a promotion relegation league, just like European soccer. And it includes everyone, not just Division I teams, but Division II, JUCO, D3, NAIA, because it's meritocracy. If you're a really good team and you move up, awesome. If you want to stay in the bottom league and not spend a lot of money, that's fine too. But in a promotion relegation league, every game matters because you're fighting to get promoted. You're fighting to avoid relegation. It makes every game meaningful. And so, yeah, so I'll still be definitely watching lots of football this year and eventually working on the rest of that series. It's a 10-part series. I've only published volume 1. I've actually written the drafts of volumes 2 through 7. So I still have to do 7 through 10 or 8 through 10. I know how the book ends for sure, but I have to actually execute it and write it. But I want to write the entire thing in totality so that everything connects, all the storylines. And so instead of just putting out one book at a time, eventually they'll be released that way, but I'm going to write the entire 10-part series first. And so I might not release volume 2 for some time. So go check out volume 1 and enjoy it. Because it's been, it's actually, it's when I put out so many books, some book has to be my least sold book. I think my Music God books are probably my least sold, but I'm always rooting for the books that are not as popular. And Spirit of the Gridiron, I'm so proud of that book. Fictional novel, just, great story about college life, fraternity life, and all that stuff, falling in love and the beautiful grind of college. It's such a great book. So I always have Spirit of the Gridiron in my mind, but for the next 12 months, however long it takes, I'll be dedicated to basketball to produce the Basketball Gods Are Real and make that book as awesome as possible. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's do NBA hoops. So NBA hoops is kind of like a kind of a flagship kind of product. It's kind of like the low, mass-produced, low price point product. In the past, it's been that way at least. Certainly, that was that way when I was a kid. But honestly, this NBA hoops version, which is now being licensed to Topps, is fantastic. I love it. As you'll see, every base card, it's supposed to be paper, but it's not. Every card's like a chromium card. You'll see. So it's not as thick as like a Prism or an Optic card, but they look great. So let's check it out. They're sporting the new rookie card logo. What are your thoughts on the new logo? I kind of miss. I don't know. I kind of miss the old logo, but it's all right. I think it's kind of cool. It's got a little basketball in there. It probably should be different than the other sports. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that in the chat? Jarrett Allen. Nick Clayton. This is live, by the way, so if you have any comments about the cards or questions for me about anything, feel free to shoot them out. Nick Clayton. There's Sabonis, formerly of the Kansas City Kings. Johnny Broom. Kel Bridges. Shout out to Danhausen from WWE, who uncursed the Knicks before they went on their epic run. And congratulations to the New York Knicks and their long-suffering fans in 53 years until they won a championship. My whole life. Cole Anthony and Cody Williams. Okay, so that one was a bust, right? But no interest. It's all base cards. But again, just check out the beauty of these base cards and how cool that they all feel like high-end cards, right? Okay, let's do a different Don Ross non-licensed. Yeah, so I've never done this before. I've never written a book like the Basketball Gods Are Real, the first draft, and then come back years later to basically like overhaul it. There's Cat. Cat's a big collector now. He was at Fanatics Fest buying and selling cards, opening V-Friends packs. That's awesome. John Morant. I feel bad for John Morant. His reputation got ruined for making a couple silly decisions, but I think he's one of the most talented players in the NBA. One of the most fun to watch for sure, and I think he can be really good in Portland. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Here's a cool photography alert with Dort, Malik Beasley, Chris Paul had a great career. We got a rated rookie. Cam Christie, super young, so he's still has a chance to prove himself. Just a beautiful card with crisp. Look at that thing shine. Panini makes great looking cards. They do. They always did. All right, we can consider this a hit. A Bomb Squad Wembayama. I think we have to put that one in the gallery. Bomb Squad is a cool insert. It's not as valuable in the marketplace as it probably should be, but I think it's kind of like the Marvels. Again, Topps has to find ways to create really cool, iconic inserts. That's what's missing still from what they're doing. But they're doing a great job. They have more to do. We'll see what they can do with new inserts going forward. But Bomb Squad, that should go to glass. It's Wemby. Wemby's going to probably be the face of the league for some time to come. In fact, he's now the face of the new NBA 2K 27. I'm going to hold off on buying that. I'm going to play the NBA 26 until, forever. But until I finish the franchise. So it might be a very long time. There's really no need to buy these games year after year. They're basically the same. They barely change them. And I used to do that. I used to always buy the new version. And then I always be like, why'd I do that? Just for the roster update. With NBA 2K, they actually give you updated rosters if you want them. You can go in and do that. So I've also learned a trick that whenever a video game comes out, by the next Thanksgiving, there's always a Thanksgiving sale on Xbox and PlayStation. And they have all these games on sale for like half off. So just be patient and wait, or do it like I do it. Get a franchise going so you have less need to buy the new game every year. If you get really emotionally invested in a franchise, you'll want to keep playing it. And the truth is, unless I see commercials that NBA 2K7 27 is so much better, there's really no need to spend $60. I'd rather just buy more packs. Next, let's do something different. So we only have one WNBA pack in this batch here, but let's give a shout out to Paige Buchers and Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, my favorite player in the league. I should start super collecting Sophie Cunningham. But let's rip. Let's see if we can pull a Sophie. There's Angel Reese. She's now on a new team. A legend card, Nancy Lieberman. Tina Charles. We got a Ray Wave for Ray Burrell. Another Ray Wave for Alana Smith. A legendary card for Cheryl Swoops. Yeah, Cooper. Collier, Fireworks. Cook. And Tina Thompson. That, my friends, is what you call a bus pack. But I like how they give you a lot of cards per pack, not just like 4 per pack, like a lot of the Chrome stuff. And yeah, it's a bust. But WNBA's got a lot of potential. I think Caitlin Clark and Paige Buchers have been huge additions. And there's a couple more young ladies coming out of the college basketball circuit next year that will also, I think, really help the league get even better. All right, here we got a 1993-94 NBA Series 2. This is just an individual pack. I think I probably paid $6 or $8 for it at the unopened Pac-Man store in Olathe, Kansas. But this sealed high box is like $200. Everything's going up in price, but all this mid-90s junk wax, it's not junk anymore, and it's certainly becoming very valuable. Hey, shout out to the chat. 15 people watching. I appreciate you spending some Saturday afternoon with me. I'm celebrating that I'm finished with the Pokemon Gods Are Real, and I'm now going to start working 100% full-time on the Basketball Gods Are Real. Get that book ready for release on July 11th, 2027. We got Tim Hardaway, Benoit Benjamin. Remember Isaiah Rodder? He was supposed to be so good. Scott Williams. Wayman Tisdale. Kansas City Kings, dude. I love it. I think I should be keeping all the Kansas City King cards, yeah? Whoa. Oh, it's just a I got fooled. I thought it was a Jordan card. It's just a scoring. Oh, no, it is. It is. It's his Topps Rising Scoring Leader card for Michael Jordan. That's a banger. That's got a good glass. And then Topps Future Playoff MVP, John Starks. I'm going to keep that. That might be a future gift to Paulie from the Collecting and Connecting Podcast Network. Frank Johnson. Kenny Smith. Brad Daugherty, and Harold Miner. All right, we got to get some glass going on here. Now, the Wayne Tisdale, I think I'm going to start PCing all Kansas City King cards. So I'm going to put that in the glass too. Actually, I don't know if you can see it. If you see in the second camera, top row, all the way on the right, the second one in is the Kansas City Kings banner. I bought that used somewhere. I forget where I got it. So do you think that John Starks deserves to go into the gallery? I'd say yeah, it does. For sentimental reasons, it should, yeah. All right, let's do another unlicensed Donruss. You know, the Donruss is unlicensed, but I think each blaster and mega has some guaranteed hits in them, which is cool. So might just be, you know, a patch or a piece of a jersey, but if we're lucky, we'll get an auto, and that'd be sick. Donnie Freeman, Micah Peavy. Got the rated rookie and the rated prospect, and then another rated rookie, Caleb Love. Seeing the second meta world piece, Winters Grady. Oh, this is cool. Unleashed, Hugo Gonzalez. Look at that, like leopard black cap behind him. That's a pretty cool design. You got the Derek Queen Gravity. Cade Base, Lynn Sanity, Jeremy Lin. My son's first game ever was at Madison Square Garden for the Knicks, and it was during Lynn Sanity. Lamar Odom, and then Dan Hurley. So I'm going to make a stack and review all these things later, but a couple of these will go to a separate stack because these I think will probably flip on eBay. All right. Let's do a Team USA basketball. I got one of these. So yeah, I prefer buying full sealed boxes of junk wax hobby like I do at the baseball card store in Overland Park, Kansas. Shout out to Jordan, Neal, Scott, and Jake and the whole crew over there. But up in Olathe, the unopened Pac-Man store, they don't let you buy individual boxes, just individual packs. They have a really insane selection to choose from. So it's a lot of fun. That's where I found this pack. Sean Kemp. So he was one of like the best dunkers of his generation. I mean, he was probably more popular because of that than anything else, right? But he was good. Oh, I just knocked over some cards. Tim Hardaway. It's weird. It's Team USA, but he's wearing his they're wearing their regular jerseys. Dominique Wilkins. So that's going to go PC because he is in my Lost Franchises NBA 2K series, and I just featured my first card, which is his 1986 Fleer card. Now I'll keep this and PC it, and I'll eventually feature this one as well in the series. That one's going to go to glass for sure. Oh, Dan Marley. He was solid, right? Steve Smith. Little sticky. Joe Dumars. Yeah, it's weird that the Derek Coleman, one of my favorites. Yeah, they should not be Team USA in that regular jersey. They should be in Team USA jerseys, right? What are you guys doing? Larry Johnson, he was tough, huh? is Dan Marley again. And then Larry Johnson. I think he was on my fantasy team once or twice. Let's get some glass for Dominique. Again, is the card worth anything? I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter. To me, it's priceless. I'll never give up this card. I'll keep it forever. I'm really excited for this new PC project with the Lost franchises. I'm excited to see when I play each season how much my roster will turn over, how many cards I'll acquire. And even though when I'm looking on cards on eBay, like I bought a John Sundvold card for like $1 yesterday. It's just fun to search all the different card designs to decide as like a curator what you're going to choose to put into the collection. But that one I pulled, so it's just going to go in no matter what. All right, hold on one second. Let me clean up these cards that fell. You got to take good care of your cards, guys, and here's why. Because even if you just give them away, you want to give away cards that are in good condition, but also if you want to trade them in, no one wants your crappy beat-up cards. You got to have cards that are in mint condition to make them, liquid, so you can sell them. Even if you're just filling up a shoebox, right, and selling a shoebox for $5 or $10, you want to give them cards that are good quality because you want to, be a good Samaritan in the hobby. It's also just good business sense, right? So the National is this week, and it makes me makes some thoughts. Like to go to the National, it's going to probably cost you like $1,000, maybe a little less. But if you're going to drive, a lot less. But between flight, hotel, food, ticket, just to get in the door, and you're already spending a few $100, and that money you could just spend on actual cards. And so I think the National is something that everyone should probably do once. I'm going to go next year for sure. I'm excited for my first time. But unless you have lots of friends to go with, my guess is a lot of the booths are going to be overpriced. Why wouldn't they be? Why wouldn't the vendors want to charge? They're going to have all these fanatical fans there that travel all over the country that want to buy stuff. So I'm sure the prices are inflated. But you also might find really cool things that you won't see anywhere else, like your local card shops, and local shows won't have. So I think it's a cool thing to do. But I also appreciate the fact that people have only so much money to spend, and the money that you're spending on that trip, you can spend on cards. However, remember this, cards are just cards, and when you see them in your house, it definitely gives you the good vibes and it brings back memories. But what is life? It's also, life is made up of unique moments of time and unique experiences. So if you really do love cards, for as much as you have a memory of, your favorite player hitting a home run and buying that, that Topps moment card, whatever, going to the show and spending 3 or 4 days there, that might create a memory that will be imprinted in your soul for a lifetime. And so I'm a big fan of the trade card shows. I'm excited to go to the National next year, but it is an issue. It is expensive, and for me, it'll be a business expense. It's not for everybody. And my point is, don't have FOMO. Don't have the fear of missing out. No big deal. Go to your local card show, your local shop, and truthfully, almost anything you can find at a card show or shop, you can find on eBay, and you can probably find it on eBay cheaper at net of fees. So just my 2 cents on that. All right, back to NBA hoops, one of my favorite non-fancy sets. Meanwhile, the Holly boxes are going for $220 for this set, and at Dick's Sporting Goods, they have a few left over, and they're still asking $350 for a paper Holly box set with only one guaranteed auto. That's just craziness. I think you gotta be smart with your spending money, and you're just better off buying the hangers and the blaster boxes, all day long. All right, here we go. Green parallel. Look at this one. That is just a beautiful. Oh, it's numbered at a 99. I mean, I just noticed the beautiful design. Look at that thing sparkle, man. Look at that. This is Topps. Topps. This is NBA. Sorry, this is Hoops. NBA Hoops. They make beautiful cards, man. Gary Payton II. Jackson Jr. So I just did a Rip Sessions episode with Levi, and he's from Oklahoma City. He's from the NBA Top Shot community, and this is a really cool card. I'll send this to him. NBA Hoops highlights of SGA. I'll keep that separate. Zach Collins, Malik Beasley as a Detroit Piston, and Drake Powell. All right, so that number card definitely getting some glass treatment. Jamal Murray. It's also cool photography. He's like up in the air, getting ready to do a sick move. Yeah, very nice. So Levi Dombrowski, I think that's how you pronounce your last name. If you're watching right now, I'm going to be mailing you a couple of books, as I promised, and I'm going to mail this card to you, dude. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, it's a way to reciprocate. When I met Jake LaRavia at the NBA Top Shot event, I got a picture with him, and then the day later, I posted that picture and said I got to start PCing that guy. And on NBA Top Shot, you can gift cards to each other. So he gifted me a moment of Jake, and that was super awesome. And that's a shout out to NBA Top Shop. You know, you want to create ways to make your product, 10x. Well, create community, and NBA Top Shot, because it's technology and you can just buy and sell and trade. It fosters community in a really cool way. So that's a great product if you're into digital collectibles. Check that out. All right, let's go next. Let's do NBA Upper Deck 1991-92 edition. Here we go. 16 people in the chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's a Saturday. The sun's probably out where you are, but you're here with me. Maybe you're on a walk. Maybe you're in the gym. Maybe you're on the couch. Maybe you're watching me on YouTube television. Who knows? But I appreciate you. I did a 2-hour live stream of Pokemon the other night from midnight to 2 a.m. And I think at one point we reached almost 400 people on the live stream, which was incredible. So thank you all for joining me for that. That was really insane. Kendall Gill, Randy Brewer, Kevin McHale, so good. Kenny Smith, you see him every night now on the pre- and post-game show. Reggie Miller. I always respected Reggie Miller. I think he's become a great play-by-play guy. We got a Bernard King All-Star card. Dennis Rodman, one of the most unique characters ever in the NBA. Sherman Douglas, Tom Chambers. He was on my fantasy team for sure. A couple of seasons, I think. Steve Smith with his draft pick card. And then another Bernard King. So 2 Bernard Kings. I love the anomalies. That's a strange one, right? Look at that. Not just 2 Bernard King, 2 All-Stars. All right, so I'll sort through all these cards later. I'll figure out, as a collector, you got to figure out, what's got value, what can you flip, what's going to is a giveaway at a trade show, what's going to go into a shoebox and get traded in. All right, a few more to go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, like 6, 7 packs to go, and we'll call it a day. But thank you for joining me today, guys. I appreciate it. If you're watching, I know you love cards as much as I do. And the truth is, I spent 10 years writing books, and I didn't spend any time trying to sell them. I just was focused on writing them, and I still am focused on writing books, but I'm slowing down now. And Pokemon is going to come out in September. Then I'm not going to release Basketball Gods until June, and then I won't put out another book until that following December. I'm not even sure what would come out next. I have to think about that. Give that some planning. It could be the Card Life Sports Cards Volume 3. Actually, could be coming out in December of 2027. But we'll see. The point is, I'm slowing it down, and that allows me to not be so obsessive compulsive about editing and writing. And I'll spend, I work so hard on these books. It's like constant effort. But now I'm slowing it down. So that gives me more time to kind of do the video game stuff, which I haven't done in like a decade, and I miss it. I love it. It's like great. Honestly, I think playing video games is like meditation to me. It's like you get your mind off anything else and you just focus on what you're doing. I love the franchises and creativity and all that stuff. Even as an adult, I love it. It's awesome. I mean, I started playing video games when Atari Pong came out. So I've been part of the whole video game evolution, and it's just awesome to watch, how much these games have advanced. Anyway, I also have more free time to do podcast stuff. My Rip Session show, my flagship show, these kind of episodes, the Card Life Chronicles, which are a little more impromptu and spontaneous. But again, that's a factor of the fact that I'm not working as much right now. Last few weeks I've been slowing down the editing of Pokemon Gods, becoming easier and easier as the book gets tighter and tighter. and now it's ready to release. And so we're done with Pokemon for now, and I'll probably buy some 30th anniversary for sure and rip that stuff absolutely. But my focus now will be on basketball hardcore for the next 12 months. Yeah, you'd be amazed how much editing is time consuming. Here's Trey Johnson, rookie. It's my least favorite part of the process, but it's the most important part. A couple of errors can really ruin a book. There's another Unleashed insert. Larry the Legend. Yeah, think about how good you had to be for an error, to be defined by you. And I'm doing this Lost Franchises simulation. I'm starting at the very beginning, 1983, and it's called the Bird Magic era. So think about how great those two players had to be to define an entire era. There were so many good players in that period of time. All right, got another one of these Don Ross. We're still looking for the auto for the relic that should be included in this thing. We got Drew Holiday. Look, I'll be honest. The non-licensed stuff is fine, but if it wasn't documenting the stuff for book writing and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't be buying it. The license looks so much better. It's a shame that Don Ross has lost that. Here's the thing. I respect Topps for their craftsmanship and how they've maneuvered to secure so many important licenses, but I look back to the time of the 1980s when the Major League Baseball had Fleer and Don Ross and Topps and Bowman and all these properties had the license. Why does it have to be an exclusive license? I'm sure Topps pays up for that exclusivity, but I blame the leagues. The leagues should not sign exclusive deals. They should let multiple manufacturers license and produce their products. That just seems like a no-brainer to me. You get more of your product onto more shelves and to more hands. I guess Topps has paid so much for that exclusive license, but it doesn't have to be this way, Free market capitalism is the best system around. That's a cool photography alert. It's just like all these other sports, these rookies come and go, and so few make an impact, You really got to appreciate when guys like Cooper Flag, are hyped up and then deliver. That's just a beautiful car. Look at that thing shimmer. Here's a cool insert for Cody Williams. Great expectations. Donovan Mitchell. Gosh, I'm not sure how the Cavaliers are going to look next year. I thought that LeBron was going to sign with them, but they didn't. I think they're going to be just average again. Malik Monk, Kelly Oubre Jr., and Jameer Jacquez Jr. Yeah, so I have two different Don Ross. I have the license from last year, and I have the unlicensed from this year. With the unlicensed stuff, I just wanted to see it. I wanted to see how Panini did with unlicensed stuff, and I gotta tell you, I think they've done a great job. Look at this one. Can you even tell that it's that what team he's on? Does it even matter? The card looks great. So nice job, Panini. All right, let's do another one of these. All right, there's 4 packs to go. 17 people on the line with us today. Thank you for joining. Shout out to all you guys in the chat. Feel free to make any comments or questions. Love to hear from you. Aaron Gordon, this guy is really underrated. Jaden McDaniels. Trey Young. Trey Young has been a huge bust, right? He was one of the real chase cards during the pandemic. Everyone wanted his cards, like Zion Williamson. He hasn't really delivered, has he? Jalen Wells, rated rookie. That's legit. I forget the name of this design, but look at this pretty card. It's just beautiful shimmer. Yeah. This one, too, is totally insane. Look at that design. Panini makes great cards. Oh, we pulled a Luka. There we go. Again, if it's an insert, I don't know how much it's worth, but that he was the face of the league for many, many years. Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby with the tip in, back-to-back necks. Love it. Scoot Henderson. My nickname's Scooter, so we have the same nickname. That's awesome. Yeah, I got to give the Luka some glass, yeah? So my dog Buddy just came into my office. That might mean he needs to go potty outside. but let's try to get this done real quick. Maybe he'll lay down. All right, 3 to go. So yeah, so we're doing this rip to celebrate my book being finished, Pokemon Gods Are Real. And we're now activating and summoning the basketball gods to help me write an awesome book called The Basketball Gods Are Real. I wrote the draft during the pandemic, and over the last 5 years, I've been accumulating. Oh, there's Wemby. I've been accumulating articles and stories, and now I got to find a way to assimilate all that stuff together to create a really good narrative and an entertaining story for everyone. We got a bomb squad, Steph Curry. That should get some glass, yeah. Ooh, Terry Rozier, point shaving scandal. Yikes. You know, to be fair, all these guys that are getting caught up in these cheating scandals and point shaving and gambling scandals, you know what? A lot of them are probably, been coerced or threatened or maybe bribed, but probably forced in some way to do this stuff. Don't just assume these guys are all guilty because of their choices. Sometimes they were forced to do things because who knows? Maybe their family got threatened. You have no idea what goes on. All right, 2 to go. One more Don Ross, and then we're going to end with a banger. So yeah, Card Life Chronicles. I do live pack opens. I also do hobby updates. It's kind of like its own little podcast on the daily. Ooh, VJ, rated rookie. That's legit. One of the all-time greats. We talked about Larry Bird earlier. Well, peanut butter and jelly. Without Bird, there's no rivalry with Bird if you don't have Magic. But everyone forgets Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He was pretty good too. Only Thomas Gravity. Ooh, back-to-back Gravity. This one is a refracting. That's a beautiful looking card. Whoa, are you kidding me? Bill Self? I'm wearing a KU jersey. Why would there be a college coach in an NBA product? That makes no sense, but it's going into glass. Bill Self has been one of the greatest coaches in college basketball history. And I love Bill Self. He's had some health troubles in and out of the hospital this year with heart problems and whatever. I wish him good health and a great season next year. There's Pat Ewing. Tony Kukoc, Kirilenko, Amen Thompson. All right. You know what they say, guys? Last pack Magic. This has been a great rip session, a lot of fun. 19 people in the chat. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. And this has been a really fun rip, and we're going to end with a 1992 Flair basketball slam dunk set, and let's pull another Jordan. Let's go. Yeah, it's wild seeing all the YouTubers at the National. Everyone talks about how prices are at an all-time high, especially for the GOATs. And yet, there's no one more pricey and GOATy right now than Michael Jordan. And yet, people are still showing off their Michael Jordan card they bought at the National. So they're basically buying these cards at the all-time high. And this is not investment advice, but markets go through cycles. And what goes up usually comes down, at least at some point. This has been tough to open. Yes, I'd be careful. In fact, there could be a huge buying opportunity coming soon if a big correction does manifest. It's happened in Pokemon already. It's happened in Bitcoin. It's happened in silver and gold. It might be starting to happen right now with the overall stock market. It's happened with the bond market. So, are sports cards immune to all that? No. Usually when the tide comes in, all the boats rise. And when the tide pulls out, all the boats sink. All right, here we go. Brian Howard. Kenny Williams. Whoa, look at this Jeff Hornacek with the special insert. That is sick. Danny Young. These cards look great. Oh, Scottie Pippen. Yeah, these cards look so good. They feel great. Kevin Brooks. Kiki Vanderway. Dana Brooks. Randy White. Buck Johnson. There we go. Another Kansas City Kings to my collection. Baby Wingate. And John Scotty. So this 90s basketball stuff is expensive. It's getting expensive, but I love it. and I missed out on it. I got out of the hobby in 1988. So I missed all the 90s and the 2000s, 2010s. I didn't get into the hobby until after the pandemic. I was too busy writing books during the pandemic. I was creating Kevin Dempsey and the Republic Baseball League and writing all these drafts for all these other books that I've been doing. So now that I'm back into the hobby full time, it's so good. It's a fountain of youth. It's given me a new lease on life. It's something I look forward to every day. I love booking my podcast guests. I love doing the shows. I love preparing for them. And I love writing books about sports cards. Published 15 books, and 14 until I got to the sports card stuff. And writing about sports cards has been so much fun. It's nonfiction, but I try to write these books in a fictional style. Continue to find new ways to enjoy this hobby. So I'm going to leave you today with 20 people in the chat. I thank each and every one of you. 20 people, I appreciate you. And we'll keep doing this. Next episode will be spontaneous. I can't tell you what's going to happen. You'll just have to stick around to find out. Anyway, enjoy your Saturday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Stay peaceful. You guys take care. God bless.
Shoebox lid, said this one traded for my first big win. Jonathan Fink on the line tonight with a pack in hand and a story that